What up, what up, what up? It's your boy, the Serious Celibate. Place your love in yourself before you ever place it in somebody else. Self-love is often the solution and your self-talk. So guys, how to know what you want and how to realize your purpose. Or at least know about your purpose. So just as a quick filler, I haven't been feeling the best. I've been pretty sick. So if you guys, haven't really heard from me, it is what it is. I'm still on day 13 of SR, started at the top of the year. That's where my counter's at. And so let's talk about, how to know what you want, right? Knowing what you want is always half the battle. Knowing what you want is always half the battle. Once you know what you want, you can go out, you can execute. Once you have a plan, you work a plan, then you plan your work, then you work your plan. Plan your work your plan, but you gotta know what you want, to make a plan, you know what I'm saying? So knowing what you want is quite important in a lot of things. Now, I'm gonna make it very simple, very short. You have to take away to gain. You have to take away to gain. They don't want you to think about it like that because our whole society is always about more, and getting more is good, abundance is good. But when you don't know what you want, you have to take away to gain. And what do I mean by that? The issue is that some of y'all think that you can just think, and something will click. And that works for some people. But the issue is that by thinking, sometimes you're just adding. And it's not always about adding. It's not always about adding. Sometimes it's about subtracting. Less is more. Essentialism, minimalism. On this channel, I'm trying to drop real gems. And every single day I retain, I can tell I'm getting more downloads. Some of y'all got gifts, but because you guys are so distracted by more, you can't center yourself and go deeper into yourself to tap into your gifts. Now, this isn't for everybody, but there's different solutions for different people, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is something that has been done for a long time is learning how to fast, for example, right? Like if you're having spiritual battles, if you feel like something's going on in your life, sometimes your body needs for some people just to not have something in it, right? Because you get inputs, you get outputs. You get inputs, you get outputs, right? Sometimes what you need to do is just stop putting things in. And then by stopping putting things in, you're going to understand what is supposed to come out when you put things in. Now, I'll put it like this. Sacrifice leads to paradise. And I'm not sure if you heard that before, but I'm big on repetition, Proper repetition leads to progression. Sacrifice leads to paradise, okay? So what I'm trying to tell you is define sacrifice. Giving up something good for something better. So we have a negative connotation with sacrifice. If you want to know what you want, if you want to figure out more about your purpose, you have to be like, I need to center myself. Why do you think when you meditate, you close your eyes, or it's easier to meditate when you close your eyes? Because your inner world actually matters a lot. That's why when you pray, you get to access your inner world. What you need to do is go within yourself and be like, yo, I'm trying to figure out what I want. So it can't be what the world wants. You keep on looking outwards. But outwards is usually just what people have told you should want, or it's the influence of other people. What you need to do is go inwards. And to go inwards, I would suggest you take away the gain. You understand that sacrifice is paradise. And I'm going to tell you what, some of y'all need to understand that to gain sometimes, you have to take away what you like. And most of the time, what you like, what I mean is that you have to take away some vices, or you got to take away some things that distract you, even though they're pleasurable, so you can get something deeper with meaning, like your purpose or knowing what you want. To know what you want, there has to be meaning, man. There has to be like, why do I want this? Like, do you ever wonder why you like what you like? A lot of y'all don't even like things. Y'all just have vices. What you like is just your vices. And you just confuse the two. And you think that things that feel good are good for you, but that's not the truth. You just confuse the two. Let me tell you, the things that are good for you are right for you. The things that feel good for you may not actually be right for you. All right. So this is to tell you, ooh, you gotta feel like a gorilla. You have to take away to gain. Nature abhors a vacuum. When you take away something, eventually you'll fill something back in there. That's why, when you take away something, eventually you'll have to replace it. You can't just say, I'm gonna just quit drugs cold turkey. You have to replace it with better habits. So to know what you want, I would suggest doing something like celibacy, because maybe some of you guys are so distracted, or women, with other people and dating and all this, that you don't know what you want in life, or you don't know this, or you need somebody else to show you what you want. You need somebody else to expose certain things to you about you. Oh, if this girl says I look good, then I must look good. If I crack this girl's back in bed, then I must be the man. What about you take away the women and you realize what it means to really be the man? What about, you stop dating that guy, for all my women out there, and you'll start to realize certain things about yourself. That's why celibacy is good. That's why fasting is good. That's why telling yourself that, okay, what can I remove that I like? A person that could sacrifice what they like. For example, a man that can leave behind a woman that he loves can gain so much. A man that can give up the world will gain something that the world can't take away from him. And by the world, I mean when you can give up worldly things, you're going to understand more about your purpose. You're going to understand more about what you want. You're going to tap into gifts. Like being on something like semen retention will help you tap into more gifts. Being like something on semen retention will actually help you, give you clarity, will help you with your purpose. It's going to help you know what you want more. Because imagine, let's say for me, I could say that I like weed. I could say that I like women. I could say that those are my two biggest vices. And by the way, most of the time your vices are just reactions or things that we do to deal with negative feelings. And most of the ways that we deal with negative feelings, I got this from a book that I read, is 3 ways, according to the author in the book: suppression, escapism, projection. Suppression, act like it's not there. Escapism, I'm gonna keep running away from my problems. And projection is acting like, yo, I'm mad, so if I punch a wall, I get mad at somebody else, I dealt with it. No, you didn't. But then what we usually do, and it's okay to have a little bit of escapism, projection, suppression, but we have vices. And I'm telling you, if you can remove some of your vices, or even remove things that you like, often what you like are vices, you will be able to know what you want. You will be able to know more about your purpose. So what I'm trying to tell you in this video is that to actually know what you want, you have to take away the things that you want, the things that you like. And then you'll understand, okay, why do I like what I like? And most of the time, for at least people that I think could understand this message, what you like are vices. And it's like, bro, I even stopped being on social media. And I realized that a lot of my vices were escapes. So now it's clear to me that I need to face myself. And my purpose comes with helping somebody that was going through the same issues that I was going through. Because most of the time when you come to a market, for example, if your goal is to amass resources, you probably have to go to a market and provide value, whether you're a producer or you're being employed by somebody, to amass resources and to provide value so you can live a better life, help other people. You often need to help somebody that was just like yourself. But how can you help yourself if you're still doing the things that, again, were like vices for you? Or you can't let go of things that are good for something better. Again, sacrifice leads to paradise. So I don't want to make this video too long, but I'm telling you guys, I'm really trying to drop gems. Like even in the last video when I told you semen retention will bring you more money. Well, obviously, if you just do semen retention, you don't do anything, you won't get money. But if you're doing something that's getting you money, semen retention, I'm telling you, will increase that. Or for people, it might be celibacy will increase that. For women, for men, right? Sometimes you might need to fast a little bit in your life. What can you take away so you can gain? And you may not know exactly what you'll gain, but when you take away, it'll leave more space for you to gain something. Guys, I'm trying to drop the gems. I'm on SR. And by the way, guys, no weed. I'll tell you this. To know what you want, to know more about your purpose, you need clarity. The thing about weed is sometimes, you might want weed in your life to chill. You might want weed in your life for different things. Oh, food tastes good. Oh, boom, boom with the girl feels better. All this stuff, music. But sometimes you got to take away the weed. Because when you take away weed, you're always going to get often more clarity. The only people that don't get more clarity are people who are using weed to get clarity. And that's okay too. So whatever works for you. I'm just trying to share some of the gems that worked for me and work people that I've advised. And I know people who are very successful, rich, that come to me for advice. Man, it is what it is. I'm not saying I'm like a guru, but anyways, look guys, start to love yourselves. This all came from me understanding that I have to love myself. And how can I love myself? Sometimes you got to take away the things that you think that you love the most to love yourself, because you're still looking outwards for things that you love, when if you love yourself, you're going to start producing things and knowing things about yourself that you would have never known. I'm telling you, like, for example, if you could tell yourself, man, you know what, I love this girl, but I think I love this girl more than myself, or I love this thing. Great men often have to walk away from things that they love just so they know that they can actually feel fulfilled in ways that they could never have imagined. Same thing for great women. Guys, to know what you want, to know your purpose, take away the gain, sacrifice these to paradise. Man, just know this world just wants to get a reaction out of you. This world just wants to get emotion out of you. That's what the world wants, right? So most of the time, what the world is going to do is that the world is going to use different things to get a reaction out of you, an emotion out of you. Because when you do that, you're easy to control. It's also an energy exchange between the person that's causing that to you. Now, if you want to feel powerful, empower others. I'm empowering you guys with this knowledge, and I'm letting you guys know that if the world is using things like lust or sadness, right, to control you, right, what you want typically is love, but they're going to say that love is something that's a product, or you should go out and find somebody. And love is great. Love can do great things, but you can't just build families and societies on just love. You got to know what you want. You got to know how you want it. You can't even just build your life, your own life, on just loving things outside of yourself. Love yourself, right? So I've just been trying to tell you that, like sometimes you gotta refrain and retain just to remain, and just get more. So I don't want to say too much. Peace out, guys. Self-love. Love y'all. Sacrifices to paradise. Find what you can take away to gain. Peace.